chaos contains a hell of a lot of information. He says if you study the creation stories from almost all cultures, everyone consistently, not everyone, but most of them say that what we know of as the universe and life came out of chaos. And he says if you actually hold still with chaos and look at the information being presented to you, it's almost always directing you to an opportunity to create harmony again. But if you run from it or you get paralyzed by it, then you actually delay the ability to come back into balance.
Well, I love this. I love the saying, there's a consistency to chaos. There's a reliability to chaos, something about that I appreciated. I was just thinking also too about, for me, I think my greatest teacher has been the ocean, and I think the observation of the ocean and what I've learned in the ocean. And one of the sayings that that I learned from the ocean, or one of the things the ocean taught me that I think kind of fits right in with what you were saying, and just what's going on right now, is just don't react to what hasn't happened yet.
Yes,
It's
amen.
You'll be out there and here comes a wave, and then you start reacting, and the wave hasn't even gotten to you, and you're already responding to the situation because of what you think's going to happen, and unfortunately, then you have to respond to your response.
Yes, and that adds more complexity.
Gets you. Then when the wave finally slams you, then you're in the middle of responding to a response you were going to have for what you thought was going to happen, and then you're not really prepared to really take the whooping that the wave's going to give you. And it seemed, it's an interesting process how, I think through, and again, that's why I always talk about nature, is that I go back to nature as my greatest professor, and through observation. And you just said it there, where if you observe nature, you're going to learn, right? You're going to learn through observation. If you run, you're not going to learn much. And if you freeze, well, that means you're not observing. You're not going to learn much. And I think, harnessing, you talked about the boxing match where you weren't scared, but maybe it's not that you weren't scared after, it's just maybe that you were able to harness it in a productive way. Because I always say, if you ever want to see what fear looks like when it runs, just watch an antelope run away from a cheetah. And I go, and most of the time the antelope gets away. I mean, cheetah is the fastest animal in the world, but the antelope gets away most of the time. And that's because it's harnessing fear and using fear as an energy source. And again, there's a great book that Christine Olmner wrote about fear, and it's called The Art of Fear, but it just talks about our relationship with fear. And I really appreciated, one of the anecdotes she gives in the book is she says, you're a little boy and you go to this water park, and then there's a giant, huge water slide, and your dad goes, "Hey, you want to go on that?" And then the little boy goes, "No, I'm scared." And then the dad goes, "Oh, you shouldn't be scared." And she's like, "Yeah, no, you should be scared, because that thing is designed to be scary." And so
exactly,
you can tell your son, "Hey, you know what? That thing is scary. Are you ready to be scared? Like, are you in the mood to be scared? Because if you are, we'll go there. And if you're not, don't worry about it. You can do it again another day." And so I think, I think it's important to, that people, and having a relationship with being scared, having a relationship with fear, and then harnessing it for the energy that it has, because obviously it's powerful. It's been used in nature. It's been beneficial for us. I have a theory that, a lot of the reason why we're self-inducing a lot of these fear situations, or, why do people like horror films? And, and I'm like, well, why are people so attracted to scary films? And I'm like, maybe they just have an ass, and there's probably some other reason that I don't know about, but this just was what made sense to me, was that they are looking for an outlet, a resource to pull fear from. Because when we were in nature and living in nature, we were scared a lot. We were scared daily. And so and now we're not at all. And so now we need to like self-induce to fulfill this mechanism that's still that we retain. You don't just erase that that biology that you've had over thousands of years in one generation, just because we got rid of everything dangerous. And so why and then they're activating that system in their body. I always thought, what, I don't like scary movies because I get scary life. Like I go out in life and I get scared for real in life. And so I don't need to go to a theater and watch something that's scary. I'm good. I got mine. But for a lot of people, they don't get that. And so it is an emotion that people don't have a great relationship with. They don't understand. And but it is obviously a dominant force in our ethos. It's in our system.
Yeah, I think fear is a really great enlivener of awareness, and I think that fear gives us the awareness that enhances our ability to learn, which ultimately produces growth. And I think that if we engage fear with a level of intelligence, I mean, it's one thing to be driving drunk and losing control of your car. That's not really an intelligent fear. That's just stupidity. But, like when I worked on the farm and we had to castrate a ram or a bull, and here I was like 12 or 13 and my dad saying, hold this thing still. And I'm like, this thing could kick me hard enough to snap me in half. I had to be really aware. And when I was racing motocross and stock cars and you doing the things that you do, fear really ramps up your capacity for awareness.